You don't belong here, Maxwell. Not in this neighborhood.
Patricia sneered, her words slicing through the quiet street like knives. It was a quiet Saturday morning in Greenville, South Carolina, the kind of morning where families mow their lawns, kids ride their bikes, and the world feels still. But that peace shattered in an instant. A quiet South Carolina street erupted into chaos when two imposters in tactical vests backed by HOA President Patricia Lockwood tried to detain a homeowner, only to learn he wasn't just any resident, but an FBI agent they never should have messed with. Welcome to Golden Stories, where real power isn't in control, it's in justice. Before we continue, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this story if you believe that no one should ever misuse authority to oppress others. Maxwell Stone, a black man, stepped out of his single-story brick home with a trash bag in hand, thinking of nothing more than getting his morning chores done. But just a few steps out, he stopped cold. At the edge of his driveway stood three figures, two men in black tactical vests, and between them, Patricia Lockwood, the Homeowners Association president. Their vests had community enforcement stitched across the front. Their stance was rigid, almost rehearsed. But Maxwell, who'd spent years reading people, knew something was off. Their boots were scuffed, straps hanging loose, and their faces looked too eager for confrontation. Patricia's voice broke the morning calm. "Mr. Stone, we need to talk." Maxwell set the trash down, resting his hands calmly on his hips. "About what?" he asked. One of the men, tall and pale with a shaved head and mirrored sunglasses, stepped forward. "Community enforcement. You're in violation of neighborhood regulations. We're here to detain you until police arrive." "Detain me?" Maxwell echoed, his tone low, almost amused. Patricia folded her arms. "You've ignored repeated notices. This has gone too far. And Scurf, we can't have someone undermining our community rules. These men are here to make sure you comply." Maxwell's gaze moved from her to the two so-called officers. "And what exactly are the charges?" The shorter man, broad-shouldered with a scruffy beard, pulled out a folded paper. "Property violations, non-compliance with HOA orders, unauthorized modifications to your driveway, loud gatherings. The list goes on." Maxwell almost laughed. "So, you think that gives you the right to walk onto my property and what did you call it? Detain me?" The tall man's jaw tightened. "That's right. You can come peacefully, or we'll make it harder." The air froze. Curtains shifted in nearby houses. Neighbors were watching. Phones were already recording. Maxwell's voice cut through the silence. "There is no such thing as community enforcement. You're not police. You have no authority here, and right now, you're trespassing." Patricia's face flushed. "Don't talk to me about authority, Maxwell. We've had real complaints, and I'm not about to let this neighborhood fall apart because of you." Maxwell didn't raise his voice. "You've picked the wrong driveway today." The tall man stepped closer. "Sir, don't make this difficult. You're being non-compliant. That means we have the right to escalate." Maxwell smirked. "Escalate? You're standing on my property with no badge, no legal authority, and no idea how deep in trouble you already are. You've got 30 seconds to back off before you regret this stunt." Patricia snapped. "You think threats make this better? The HOA exists to keep this neighborhood safe and respectable. People like you." She stopped mid-sentence, her lips pressing tight, realizing what she'd almost said. Maxwell's eyes narrowed. "People like me, huh? Be careful how you finish that thought, Patricia." The bearded man shifted uneasily. "Look, this doesn't need to get ugly. Just come with us. We'll wait for the officers. Clear it up. Maybe they go easy." "Officers?" Maxwell asked flatly. "Funny choice of words, because the only officers I see here are you two clowns pretending to have authority." The tall one stiffened. Patricia doubled down. "These men are authorized by the HOA board to ensure compliance." Maxwell chuckled. "Listen to yourself. You brought two grown men in bargain bin tactical gear to enforce rules? That's not how the law works." The crowd was growing. Maxwell lowered his voice just enough for everyone to hear. "You want real authority? It's training. It's law. It's accountability. And the real cops will be very interested in this little performance." A flicker of doubt crossed the tall man's face, but he pushed forward. "If you resist, we'll restrain you." "I've dealt with cartel enforcers less reckless than you," Maxwell said. "Move back before this becomes something you can't walk away from." Patricia's tone sharpened. Why should the rest of us live by the rules while you do whatever you want? We have a system, Maxwell. We have order. If you won't respect it, maybe you don't belong here. Maxwell's gaze hardened. Respect isn't forced with fake cops and threats. It's earned. And this isn't about rules. It's about control. The street erupted with murmurs. Neighbors nodded. One woman with a baby on her hip called out, "Neighborhood matter? Looks like harassment to me." A teen from down the street, Victor, lifted his phone. "Yo, Mr. Stone, I got you on live. Thousands are watching." The tall imposter snapped his head toward the teen. "Put that down." Wrong move. Maxwell stepped between them, voice cold. "You even think about touching that kid. This ends right here." Patricia's voice shook. "None of you should be interfering." "Looks like you're the one interfering," someone shouted. "You can't arrest your neighbor for cutting grass too short." Maxwell's voice stayed calm. "Patricia, do you hear them? This isn't order, it's chaos, and you created it." Her face twisted. "You and your kind have always been a problem." "My kind?" Maxwell's voice turned razor sharp. "The problem is you confuse control with leadership. They're not the same." The bearded imposter whispered, "We should go." "No, we finished this," the tall one growled. He pulled out a pair of cheap metal cuffs. "You're under neighborhood arrest." Gasps filled the street. Maxwell didn't flinch. "If you even think about putting those cuffs on me, that's a felony. Impersonating an officer, unlawful restraint, prison time." Justin's hand trembled. Austin muttered, "This is insane. We'll get locked up ourselves." Patricia snapped, desperate. "Do it. Show him who's in charge." Justin lunged, but Maxwell moved faster. Swift, controlled, practiced. In a blink, Justin's own cuffs were snapped onto his wrists. The crowd roared. Someone shouted, "He flipped it on him." Maxwell stood firm. "You're done. Don't resist. It only gets worse from here." Patricia screamed, "You can't arrest him." "You're right," Maxwell said, his voice calm as steel. "But I can detain him until the real law arrives." Austin backed away, hands up. "I'm out. Lady, you never told us he was law enforcement." "That's because she didn't know," Maxwell said, pulling a worn leather wallet from his pocket. He flipped it open, revealing a gold badge that glinted under the sun. "I'm Special Agent Maxwell Stone, Federal Bureau of Investigation." The street fell silent. Patricia's mouth hung open. Neighbors stared in disbelief. Moments later, real sirens wailed in the distance. Red and blue lights washed over the street. Two officers stepped out, hands hovering near their holsters. Maxwell lifted his badge again, steady and calm. "Officers, Special Agent Maxwell Stone, FBI. The man in my custody impersonated law enforcement, trespassed on my property, and attempted a fake arrest. Every second of it is recorded." The officers exchanged a look, nodding. Respect replaced confusion. Justin was handed over. Austin threw off his vest and surrendered. Then all eyes turned to Patricia. "Ma'am," one officer said sharply, "did you authorize these men?" I was only trying to keep order," she stammered. "Order?" Maxwell's voice cut through. "You staged a fake arrest to intimidate your neighbor. That's not order. That's abuse." The crowd shouted in agreement. "We all saw it, Patricia." Her face crumbled. "You can't arrest me. I'm the HOA President." The officer's reply was cold. "That title doesn't put you above the law. You're coming with us." And just like that, Patricia, once the self-proclaimed queen of the block, was escorted away under flashing lights. Neighbors who had once feared her now turned away, shaking their heads. Her reign of control had ended in the same place it began, on a quiet street that finally found its voice. Have you ever seen someone abuse their power only to watch it collapse in front of everyone? If you believe justice always finds its way, hit that like button and subscribe to Golden Stories, where every story reminds us that power built on fear always crumbles.